Hey guys, this is Damien again, representing Proactive Medical, and I'm here today to give you some information on how to troubleshoot the electronics that go on all of the devices that Proactive offers that offer electronics. We get a lot of questions when the customer tries to assemble the product. Sometimes things come up that are a little confusing. So I want to clarify all of the components of the electronic system, what they all do, and what some of the things that can happen that you'll need to repair or fix or hook up the right way. So you can see this is a completely assembled unit. We know that it's got a hand control that plugs in, that raises and lowers it. We know that we have a battery that goes onto the system that makes it go up and down. We got the emergency stop, up and down button at the top of the control box. We got an actuator that makes the device go up and down. But let's talk about when we get the device brand new and we need to put it together. So the first thing I want to start with is the control box. So you can see the control box is what's mounted right here. At the very bottom of the control box, there's two ports, a yellow one and a red one. The yellow one is for the hand control, which we have here, and the red one is for the actuator that's actually hooked onto the device right now. When we work our way up on the control box, we have a little port here that's for the charging. So that's our charging port. That's how we're going to charge the battery. When we go up a little bit further, you'll see there's a couple of tabs in here because that's where the battery actually inserts into the control box, and those tabs connect there to allow the power to go through the system. Working our way up further, we have the up and down buttons on the top of the control box. Then we also have a little LCD display here that can show you three different states. One state is a battery with a lightning bolt through it, which means it's a charging battery. One is a battery showing some sort of level to it, full or halfway, with a gray mark to reflect how much power is in the battery. Then another symbol with a triangle through it, which means that the battery is defective or there's an issue with the charging. So those are the three things that can reflect up here on the display. We'll talk about those a little bit later. Then there's also an emergency stop button at the very top of the device so you can push in and out. Just to make you aware of this, if the red button is pushed down, you cannot charge this lift, nothing will work at all. So the majority of all the time you'd have this red button up when you're operating the device. So that's our control box. Now let's show you the battery that goes onto the control box. You can kind of see that it just snaps on here and then clicks in place. And now you can see that we have a display here to show that the battery's full. So that's our battery. Now let's show you the hand control and how it connects to the control box. One of the things we find is that when people start to assemble the product, with the control box being here, is when they go to connect things down here at the bottom and push it in here, they don't push it in all the way. So then they go to run the device and nothing's working. You have to be sure that you plug this connector in all the way until you don't see any gap between here and the connector for it to be connected properly. Sometimes people will put a little bit of lubrication on the O-ring that's on the connector so that it slides in better, but it's really important that that's connected all the way. And the same thing goes with the actuator, which is over here on the unit. There's a connector on it as well that plugs in right here. Same thing. You've got to make sure that's plugged in all the way, or otherwise the lift won't go up and down or work properly. So how do we charge the lift? It's pretty simple. We have two cables that allow us to charge the device. You can see that the control box here on the lifter itself, there's our port for charging. The first cable we plug in is this breakaway cord. It plugs in and snaps in pretty tightly. The reason that's there is because the charger, when it's plugged into the wall, plugs into this. That way if we run off with the lift plugged into the wall, the connector pops away here and doesn't damage the control box. Once we do have it plugged into the wall and charging, there's also a little diode here on the charger itself that'll change colors. It'll be green when the unit's fully charged. It'll be yellow when it's charging. One of the things we find if the battery is bad is people will plug the charger in and it'll show green initially, but then it'll show yellow, but it won't show yellow for long, maybe 10 seconds. It'll go right back to green. Then they'll go to use the lift, the battery's still dead. What that basically is saying, the battery needs to be replaced. This yellow light should stay on for a good period of time to charge up the unit if the battery needs to be charged. So hopefully some of those troubleshooting tips will help you with the electronics.